Hi, this is Bird from Bird's SVGs, and in this video I'll be showing you how I put the Poinsettia trio together, and that's from the White Christmas SVG Collection. And when I say trio, I mean the dimensional card, the box envelope that it fits into, and the matching gift tag. So I'm starting with my card first of all this time, and I folded my card base in half, and I have these two layers that go on the inside of my card. So the first part here is the poinsettia frame, and I'm gluing that down onto a white panel of card, and that allows you to write the message to your recipient. It means you can use a dark coloured card base if you'd like, because you've still got somewhere to write your message, and the weight of the two layers inside helps counterbalance the front of the card too. So I'm just popping that into place. It just has a small border around the outside when you place it inside your card. Then we can start working on the front, and we've got the same frame. It's slightly larger, and that goes on top of a backing layer for your frame. So I'm adding glue around the outside edge and the inside edge of the frame, and just dotting around a little bit of glue in a couple of places. But if there are any areas lifting, I'll pop up a separate video showing how I address that myself using a spatula. So I'm putting some 3D foam pads on the back of my frame. I'm using way too many. You don't have to use that many if you don't want to. And I'm attaching this directly onto the front of my card base. There's no backing layer with this one because the Poinsettia spray is quite large and it covers the majority of that central area. So as with all the cards, they're white and another colour, and this particular one is white and green. But to help differentiate between the layers of green and layers of white is I've gone through my stash and I've picked out all the speciality card, the glitter, the pearl, the different types of glitter, you know, things like that. And I've cut my different layers out of similar shades of green, but in very different finishes. So I've just started to layer my two layers that form my holly leaves, because one's got the cutouts. So I've layered I've put a sheet of pearl card over the top of a sheet of plain card, and that forms the little veins in my holly leaves. And now I'm gluing down my little berries onto this layer too. And I cut those out of white glitter card. I know that's not showing up on the video, but they're actually white glitter card. But if you wanted to do something a bit different, you could always use rhinestones, enamel dots, or even something like enamel accents or stickles or something like that that's dimensional. So you've got some options there. And then I can then attach this layer onto the base layer with some 3D foam pads. Now the base layers that form the kind of foliage of my spray, my flower spray, they're quite easy to line up, but I did find that I had a little bit of trouble lining up my poinsettia layers. So what I've done since I filmed this video is that I've actually added a little circle to line up between all the poinsettia layers to make it much simpler for you. Because I figure if I've got trouble lining it up, well, you know, it might be a little bit tricky for someone who didn't design it. So you'll have a little circle to line up in all the layers apart from the front layer that will cover it over. So I've taken all of my poinsettia layers, and one by one I'm adding 3D foam pads onto the back of them. These are all cut out of white glitter card. You can see here me having trouble lining this up. So that's why I've altered this slightly. So don't worry, you won't have that trouble. And again, more 3D foam pads, and I'm layering this up. Again, giving it lots of dimension. And don't worry, because you've got a box envelope that this will fit inside. So you can, it won't get squashed or anything. And then the last bit, I've got the centre, which will be like the berry section. And I'm just trimming down a little foam pad to fit behind that too. And I cut this one out of a piece of pearl card. And then I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to add some, I'm just having a look to see if I needed it popped up. And I really don't, because it's quite dimensional. Although you could choose to do that if you'd like. Add some 3D foam pads onto the back of here. Of course, you could use other dimensional adhesives. Silicone gel, 3D glue dots, whatever you fancy using. So I'm just going to add some glue onto this. And then I'm going to lay it into the middle of my oval. So I'm kind of happy that it's central to my card. And then I'll just put a little bit of pressure on it and just wait a moment for the glue to start taking hold. So you'll see in a moment I'll actually put my hand over the whole thing. But some of the little areas are overlapping the frame, so I'm just tacking them down and making sure that they're all attached, and then you can see all the dimension and the different layers. Okay, so now we're going to work on our box envelope, and it's got the poinsettia cutout on the front. So we've got a white panel to go behind the cutout, and first of all, to find the placement a bit easier, is I'm folding along all of the score lines. There are obviously score lines there, perforated lines to pop your panel in between, but it is a lot easier when you fold it to see those. So I'm just adding some glue, just a few dots here and there inside the poinsettia, but just mainly just adding some glue around the outside edge of the whole front panel there. And then I'm putting some glue onto the bottom of my back piece, and this is going to kind of serve as a hinge, because once that's in place then I can kind of flip it up and it will be in the right position. And then I'm adding glue to the side tab of my back piece because I want all of my back tabs to sit inside my front. So when you're looking at the front of the envelope, there's no seams. And as these box envelopes are only about ½ inch thick, you might find it easier to pop a bone folder inside to help put some pressure on those side tabs. So this is a tiny little fiddly bit. It's the only bit you need to worry about when you put these box envelopes together, and that is just getting that bottom tab in before you glue your side tab. And there, it's done, and it's ready for your dimensional card. So it fits in there comfortably. There's still room around the outside edge of your card, around the frame, if you want to add any other embellishments is the word, or ribbons or anything like that. There's still a bit more room in there. Okay, we're going to put our matching tag together. We've got a layer to go on the back of the tag. I always do that in case you're using, because you may choose to use a green piece of card for your tag base, but then you'll have a white panel on the back to write the message to your recipient. Now we've got a frame here to go on the front of your tag, and really the poinsettia doesn't matter which way round it goes, so you just make sure the hole is kind of in between two of the leaves. And then again, there aren't any holes on this piece for you to match up, but there will be in your version. I've actually added them since I filmed this video, because as I was having a bit of difficulty lining up the poinsettia, then I thought, well, many people could, so I've added a little circle behind one of the leaves, and that will line up all the way through the layers. So I've chosen to glue my green layer here directly onto my tag base, but then I'm going to add 3D foam pads to all of the, well, they're not petals, I know they're all leaves on a poinsettia, but you know, to all the white areas. And although poinsettias do come in white and red, I think obviously this would look great in red too. I just decided to go for a white theme with my collection. So the last layer goes on top. And that last layer will actually cover up the holes in the previous layers that you'll be using to align your layers. And there I've got a little piece that goes in the middle to form my berry area, and that's in Pearl Card. And the poinsettia leaves are in Glitter Card. So that's the whole collection, and I hope you enjoy crafting with it and your recipients enjoy receiving them.